Okay, we're good to go now. Sorry about that. Again, we welcome you to our Ledger LCJ update for today. Today is May 20th, 2022. This is the 140th day of 2022. There are 225 days left in the year. Thank you all for joining us. If you like this, please share it with anybody you think might be interested. If you don't care for it, let's just keep that between you and us and tell us why, and we'll try and do better next time. Last night, the Heavener City Council approved bids totaling $105,350 for repairs at the Heavener Runestone Park. The repairs will be for the gift shop, community building, enclosure for the Runestone, and also the rock building. In today's weather forecast, we'll have a mix of clouds and sun with wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour during the day. We'll also have a chance of scattered thunderstorms during the evening. The high will be 87 degrees with a low of 72 degrees. Sunrise is at 6:11, sunset at 8:19 p.m. Average temperatures for May 20th are a high of 82 and a low of 59. Record temperatures for the date were a high of 92 in 1998 and a record low of 46 in 1993. Last year on this date, the high was 76 with a low of 67. Thursday's high was 89 with a low of 78. Funeral service for Rebecca Becky Bowman, 94 of Moreland, is 10 o'clock Saturday at Mallory Martin Chapel in Spiro, with Reverend Phil McGehee officiating. Burial will fall at New Hope Cemetery in Spiro under the direction of Mallory Martin Funeral Home in Spiro. She was born June 16, 1927 in Poto and passed away May 18, 2022 in Moreland. Luther J. Clayton was born February 4, 1945 in Fort Coffee and passed away May 13, 2022, also in Fort Coffee. The news, President Joe Biden is opening a trip to Asia with a focus on a computer chip shortage has troubled the world economy. He toured a Samsung computer chip plant that will serve as a model for a $17 billion semiconductor factory that the Korean electronics company plans to open in Texas. The visit is a nod to Biden's key domestic priorities of increasing the supply of computer chips. A semiconductor shortage last year hurt the availability of autos, kitchen appliances, and other goods, causing higher inflation worldwide and crippling Biden's public approval among U.S. voters. The Senate approved a $40 billion package of military, economic, and food aid for Ukraine and U.S. allies to final congressional approval, putting a bipartisan stamp on America's biggest commitment yet to turning Russia's invasion into a painful problem for Moscow. The legislation was approved 86-11 Thursday. It was backed by every voting Democrat and most Republicans. The head of the Food and Drug Administration told lawmakers Thursday that a shuttered baby formula factory could be up and running as soon as next week, although he sidestepped questions about whether his agency should have intervened earlier to address problems at the plant that have triggered the national shortage. Oklahoma lawmakers on Thursday approved the bill prohibiting all abortions with few exceptions, and providers said they would stop performing the procedure as soon as the governor signs it in the latest example of the GOP's national push to restrict access to what has been a constitutional right for nearly half a century. Oklahoma lawmakers this year already passed a half dozen anti-abortion measures, and while abortion providers across the country have been bracing for the possibility that the U.S. Supreme Court's new conservative majority might further restrict the practice, that's especially been the case in Oklahoma and Texas. In the PGA Championship in Tulsa at Southern Hills, Rory McIlroy took the early lead. He shot a 565 Thursday to give him a one-shot lead at the end of a warm and windy day. In the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, they're all tied up at one game apiece, with the series about to shift to Boston, with the Celtics now holding the home court advantage. Jason Tatum scored 27 points. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown each had 24. And the Celtics went on a massive first-half run to roll past the Miami Heat, 127-102 on Thursday night in Game 2 of the series in Miami. Defending national champion Oklahoma softball team has been tabbed the number 1 overall seed in the 2022 NCAA Division I softball championship and plays host to the NCAA Norman Regional today through Sunday. The 4-team 3-day event features Texas A&M facing Minnesota at 4 o'clock Friday before the Sooners take on Prairie View A&M at 6:30. Champions of the Big 12, the Oklahoma State softball team is the number 7 national seed in the NCAA tournament, and they host Big Ten Atlantic 10 champion Fordham, Big Ten champion Nebraska, and Conference USA champion North Texas in the Stillwater Regional, also going on from today through Friday. On this date in history, in 1956, the United States exploded the first airborne hydrogen bomb. In 1862, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Homestead Act, which was intended to encourage settlements west of the Mississippi River by making federal land available for farming. In 1916, the Saturday Evening Post published its first Norman Rockwell cover. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh took off from Roosevelt Field in Long Island, New York, aboard the Spirit of St. Louis on his historic solo flight to France. 1961, a white mob attacked a busload of Freedom Riders in Montgomery, Alabama, prompting the federal government to send in U.S. Marshals to restore order. Today's birthdays include singer-actor Cher, who is 76. Former race car driver Tony Stewart is 51. We thank you again for joining us and ask you to please check out our daily newsletter at heavenerledger.substack.com. You can support us with a subscription for only $5 a month, and you will be helping out a locally owned and operated company. We hope you have a good day and a great weekend ahead of you. Thank you again.